Remember back in the day when you taught me to live and I taught you to pray. We went in the battle together, no matter the weather, we never delayed. You gave me commands, I always obeyed. I never let you go astray. I never thought I'd see the day that you would come and just betray me. Sick of playing silly games, you never loved me anyway. You should not have let me get away, cause now I'm looking for my prey. I'm bigger, I'm better, my mind is a weapon. I won't ever let up. You try to break me down and I'ma just get up. They ask me how I did it, I'ma just tell them I rose up. Survivor. Fight for my life. Coming back stronger. I will arise. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life. Coming back stronger. I will arise. Staring at you from afar, analyzing every scar. Asking myself how we got here. Remember, this is who we are. I am not here for revenge. I did not come to make amends. Not here to repent for my sins. I just came here to win. I just came here to end. I just came here to fight. Show you everything you said I couldn't be. I became overnight. This for the blood, this is for the tears. This is for my pain and my plight. Two walked in, but only one of us is walking out of here tonight. I'm a survivor. For my life, coming back stronger. I will arise. I'm a survivor. Fight for my life, coming back stronger. I will arise.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, friends and family of the ANZ ESeries. We are live for the 4th round of the GT3 Championship, and hasn't that flown by? Tonight, we've got a double dealing of fun for you. Two 25-minute races around Road Atlanta, one of the best, most beloved tracks in America. Not as well known as, say, COTA or Laguna Seca. But for those into motorsport, it is pretty much hallowed ground. And helping me bring to life the race tonight, after a week off due to man flu, is Daddy Mitch.
Welcome. The cool Uncle Aaron is gone, and Daddy Mitch is back this week, the boring father. It's good to be here. It is very happy to be back. I am well and recovered. I hope you were all very worried about me. If you weren't, then I'm not going to show you on stream anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody was worried. Who could possibly not worry when they lose their second favourite commentator?
Their second favourite commentator. Is Aaron there first, or is it you?
I must say it was a ball having Aaron in, and big thanks to Aaron for stepping in fairly last minute to take your place. He did a fantastic job, and he brings a very light-hearted style of commentary. We had a lot of fun in your absence. That was with the Formula Fords, which I get
it. He's more fun than me. You don't have to rub salt into the wound. I get it.
It's just a different style. I do think we also go more casual on the Formula Ford stream and make it a bit more serious for the GT3 stream, because it just feels like the proper Wednesday night series. I don't know if that's going to offend the people in the Formula Ford series. I just feel like the GT3 is the premier series. You know?
Look, I wouldn't worry about the Formula Ford guys. They're probably racing right now anyway. They're not here and listening. They're watching.
They're just having too much fun. And those drivers are going to want to be competing tonight, and they're going to want to compete tomorrow, because everybody that competes tonight and tomorrow will be put into a giveaway to win $15 of iRacing credit. So there'll be two winners. So if you enter in both series, you'll get two entries, one for the Wednesday night and one for Thursday night, and two opportunities to win $15 of iRacing credits, which will get you a track, it'll get you a car. It'll be a nice little giveaway for you. So if you're listening, there's still time to get into the session. You'll have to be hot on it. So get involved now and get in that entry. We've got 14 cars on track, 17 registered for the session. Should be a good grid tonight.
Yeah, we've got 8 minutes left until qualifying starts. So as far as I'm aware, as long as you get in before the race starts, before qualifying ends, I think you're golden. Is that right?
I believe so. I think you can still enter whilst qualifying is on, as long as qualifying hasn't finished. So if you weren't planning on racing tonight, if you're sitting down with your Wednesday night dinner, looking forward to watching some GT3s around Road Atlanta, and this has piqued your interest, you're thinking, you know what? I could really go for a free track right now because, the economy is terrible. So then put your dinner down, get on iRacing, and get in the server.
Consider it like a rebate. Maybe you don't have a NASCAR. Maybe you don't have the NASCAR track tomorrow. Well, if you buy it now, you basically get like a $15 rebate for it tomorrow.
Well, assuming you win the draw.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. It's not everybody. It's not everybody. You could. If you're in both, you're in it. You're in it to win it.
But I mean, look, there's 15 people on track currently, which means there's an expected return of $1 if you get into the race now. That's going to be your average return. That's pretty good.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. If we use maths, then on average, everyone's going to get $1.
Which is superb. $1 to race around Road Atlanta in 2 25-minute races in a GT3 car. Like, sign me up. You're lucky I haven't left the commentary to go race.
Hey, get back here! You're not done yet.
No, I get my racing in on the Thursday nights. I actually had a decent race last night as well in the not last night, Monday night in another series, which was my first decent race in about a year. So I was pretty chuffed
podium?
with that. No, the top 10 now. Top 10.
That's not too bad. How many? Not 10, I hope.
Just shy of 40.
That's not bad. That's pretty good. You got to be happy with that.
I was happy with that. The first race in that style of car. So that was not to flex or anything, but that was decent for me. If there's one digit, if it's only one digit, that's a very good result for me. But it's not going to be good enough for the likes of Fitzroy Beaumont, the likes of Economos, the likes of Bennett and Sereno, who are in the practice session right now. No point going through the order. Everybody knows that practice is meaningless. Some of them will be running the qualifying setup. Some of them will be running race setup. It just depends on where they feel strong, where they feel weak, and how comfortable they are with this track. Those who want to do more laps, they'll obviously be in their race setup, just pounding round, trying to bring down those lap times. And those that are more comfortable will probably be looking to get those last few tenths out of it in qualifying, because a couple of grid positions could make or break your race around Road Atlanta. It is not an easy track to overtake, and it is a very difficult track just to have a clean race because it is so technical.
Now, there is a new driver here today who I'm very excited to see and who I would like to talk about. Kenny Economos. Now, I had the luxury, the privilege, and the pleasure of doing the Spa 24 hours with him last year, and this guy is fast. I think he's... Now, I could be mistaken, but I think he was the Gran Turismo World Champion, and he's even raced in sim racing against the likes of Lewis Hamilton, and he's here with us tonight.
It's incredible, the standard of drivers that we get in this series, even when you ignore the likes of Kenny Economos, who is obviously, as far as sim racing goes, one of the fastest people in the world. Even when you ignore him, you've got Tal Sereno. How quick is that bloke? Like, seriously quick. Fitzroy Beaumont, Jamie Christensen, Corey Bennett, like, all these guys are quick, and as much as it pains me to say it, Aaron Orbistel is also pretty quick, not just a good commentator, also a good racer. That's what you get when you join a series that is run by Vermilion. Because Vermilion, they're a very, very strong strong team. They've got depth in their driver pool, and each week you compete in the ANZ series, you are facing some of the best Vermilion has to offer, and that means you're facing some of the best that Australian and worldwide iRacing has got to offer.
Yeah, the Vermilion guys are pretty picky nowadays about who they let in, which is why I've been sort of scratching on the door for a while. They don't let trash like me drive their cars, which is why I'm in the box here rather than out on track. Oh no, is that safety car being unsafe there in practice?
I think it was. I think it was a safety car in the wall. We'll have to see. Can you get a replay of that? I want to see this.
All right, let me bring that up. Do you know who was driving it? I think it might have been Ben Miles.
Ben Miles.
Ben Miles? Yeah, here it is. Here he is. All right, Ben Miles, you've been bagged and tagged, buddy. Here we go. Where's he gonna come unstuck? A little bit of grass, maybe a little unsettled there.
Settle it back down.
It doesn't. It looks okay here.
There it is.
Yeah, okay. Just a little little unhappy. And mate, someone tell that safety car to keep his foot on the brakes.
I mean, look, I don't want to throw shade, but I can't remember seeing Bert Mylander throw it in the wall.
You know, there was a famous
saying,
incident where the safety car crashed. I don't remember when or who the drivers were at the time, but it happened.
I remember Hulkenberg taking the safety car's door off.
I have. I'm just reading reading chat here, and in terms of giveaway for spectators, we give you our love. That's what we have to offer to you tonight, Ben.
And that's not nothing. Our love is hard earned. Actually, that's a lie. It's very easily learned. I just want to be loved. That's all.
I'm a filthy whore. I give it away for free.
Yeah, you do, Daddy.
Yeah,
you do.
Ben nothing. DM me after this, yeah.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. Who wouldn't want to DM you? Let's face it. You're a beautiful man.
Oh, thank you. This is my little face up in the right-hand corner of the screen there for anyone wanting to perv on me. It's fine. I don't blame them. Anyway, we got drivers out on track.
We do have drivers out on track, and we're about to start qualifying. So we're about to get rid of stop practice, which is let's face it, the least meaningful session, and we're going to get into the real stuff, the first competitive session of the night, and that is, of course, what else but qualifying. Everybody knows what qualifying is about. Ultimate pace, one lap, get it done. You're going to see drivers crack, and you're going to see drivers step up to the plate, and I'm betting Kenny Economos comes away as fastest. That's my bet going into the session.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised. The guy is truly an alien. Like, up until maybe today, Tao has pretty much gone unchallenged. The man has not had a clean series yet. Like, he hasn't come through a Wednesday night in GT3's unscathed. It just hasn't happened. But despite that, he is currently leading the points, which I do have here. Let me bring up these standings. So we've got Tao at the top, Matthew Bryant, Jamie Christensen, Connor Nixon, who had some technical issues last week and missed out. Aaron, Fitzroy, Corey. Corey was not here for the first race in GT3s, so he is playing from behind. Ryan Grubb, Joshua Alton, Sean Doyle, Curtis Bird, Dale Loom, Oliver Patterson, David Atkinson, Brad Hayes, Steve Kalosh, and David Milne too. I apologies to anyone that is not currently featured on that list. I could only get it to go to 16 in a single screenshot.
Yeah, I mean, look at how close some of those points are as well. We're in for... It's only 6 rounds, which means every round is of utmost importance. You can't afford to have a bad round, because if somebody just gets 6 top 5 finishes, they're in with a good shot of getting the win if other people have even one race where they finish 15th, 16th, 17th because they had a crash. So it's a format that's going to reward consistency and excellence. And we've got a fair few drivers that have got both. So it's going to be wonderful to see who comes out on top in 4 weeks' time.
So, one thing I do quickly just want to talk about here is that Kenny was looking strong before, but Tao has just put the gauntlet down.
Yeah,
in his last lap. No, this is still practice. It's still practice. The track is going to be ramping up yet. And perhaps Kenny hasn't done maybe his representative time, but
yeah, I don't care what fuel load or setup Tao was running there. That is a statement lap. Almost 4 times faster than Kenny Economos and Fitzroy Beaumont. That's quick. Doesn't matter how he was set up. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can come back at him in qualifying.
Yeah, so it looks like our session is starting now.
Yeah, so we're just on board now as they go around for their warm-up lap. I believe we're on board with, is it
So right now we're on board with Tao.
So we're on board with Tao right now. He's approaching probably the easiest corner on the track. There's not many around Road Atlanta, but this is one of them. Straightforward 90-degree right-hander. You can take quite a bit of liberty because you got that little bit of camber you can see there, just helping you out. But then this one's a lot more difficult. Very easy to get the back end struggling to get the power down as you exit that corner, because you kind of crest a little bit of a hill and it flattens out, and it just does not help the car want to get out of that corner. Next up, you got this long straight, and then he's going to be heading towards the best overtaking opportunity on the track, which is a wide chicane. It's not one of those real flip-floppy chicanes where you're left and you're immediately right. You got a little bit of time in between, and what that allows is for really good side-by-side racing through these two corners and then onto the start-finish straight. So you're seeing him slow down there, make sure he's got plenty of room, getting overtaken. Echoes of Russell.
I think that was who just overtook him there might have actually been Kenny.
Yeah, and then they let more cars pass as well, so I don't know if that was deliberate in the end. But here we go, starting a flying lap, taking as much pace as you can through that final corner to be as fast as you can as you cross the start-finish line and get the quickest time into the first corner. That is one of the trickiest corners on the circuit. You approach it and it becomes uphill. It always feels like you're leaving time on the board there, because you either feel like you've carried too much speed and you've had to get out of it, or you haven't carried enough. Then into this downhill roller coaster section, very reminiscent of Bathurst, but without the walls, but easy to make a mistake, just like there. Tao going over the grass, getting it all wrong, and to be fair, he came across a incident and then another car slowing down. Easy, that corner he just went past the left-hander. Easy to get oversteer on the exit as you're trying to get the power down. Just not that much, as much grip there as you would expect here. Nice and easy. You got the camber helping you. This one, you can see there's the hill that is cresting just there, and it flattens out now, so it's supporting the car at the start of the corner, but then not supporting you at the end, which can make it hard to get the power down, but he's done a beautiful job there in the Porsche. Next up is the main overtaking opportunity, like we just said earlier, which is the fairly long chicane, and then you've got a fairly straightforward final turn to finish the lap.
So it looked like Tao pretty much got caught up. So he eased off a little bit towards the end, and then he got just jumped by about 5 different people, and really just got held up there. Then a little bit off in front of him, caused the car in front to slow down, and then he was suddenly off track.
Yeah, we're just getting our first flying laps in. Kenny Economos straight to the top of the leaderboard. Corey Bennett in second, Ryan Grubb in third, and they're the only 3 drivers so far to have posted a clean lap. And as I said, that Matthew Brunt pops up into 3rd place, Chris Bird into 5th. Of course, if you have a track, your lap will not be counted, which is why I'm sure more than 5 drivers have done a lap, but a bunch of them not having that lap counted.
Now, where do you think the big places for off tracks are on this track?
Pretty much everywhere except this corner. Like I said, you're gonna see people loop it at the exit of this corner here, because they're gonna struggle to get the power down, particularly if they're in the middle of a battle and they get a little bit impatient to get on the throttle, which is easy to do. You're going to see them loop it around. If we head towards the first corner, that's very much going to be a area where people are going to have big incidents. Sorry, excuse me. Where, because you just want to carry as much speed as you can, and you can carry a lot of speed, but it is definitely not even nearly full throttle. So people are going to be daring themselves to take less brake going into the last corner, into the first corner even, and they're going to make mistakes. Down here is pretty easy. The corner does help you out a little bit, and it's not treacherous. This is the first corner approaching now. So you're going to see the tarmac up here on the left. That's where they're generally going to stop braking. Somewhere there, they're going to get it in and get on throttle as early as possible. Because if you don't, you've got a really drastic uphill, and you need to push the car up the hill. If you're staying off throttle, you're losing so much speed, because that hill is scrubbing off every little ounce of speed that you carry through that corner. So you have to get on throttle as early as possible. Just dare yourself. Oh, that's not good.
Oh no, Tao was going for another one, and he's lost his lap again. And it looks like he's probably out of fuel now. I don't think he's got enough to run around again, so he's just going to have to reset. So I believe Tao set a 1:17, I want to say 8 in practice.
But so far, the fastest in this is only a 181, so that's
Yeah,
definitely genuinely
Kenny.
looking like a fast lap. And Tao, as we've seen, he hasn't had a clean lap yet. Not really. Even that lap that's put him in 3rd place. So yeah, he had a bit of traffic.
Oh, he certainly did. He was well held up. I do not understand how he is currently 3rd whilst being held up that much.
Mad skills, the likes of which me and you could only dream of.
Yeah, that'll do.
I will do magical things like putting you in third on what was not a clean lap. Certainly, it was clean from Tao, but not clean in terms of traffic.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, so he was pretty well held up. I mean, we'll see how he goes once he gets out for another one. He's probably a little bit away from crossing the line, so we'll see if we can jump back on him before he starts his lap, because I do want to get a whole on board from the master of the GT3s himself. I feel like we haven't gotten a full single hot lap from him yet.
No, but we're going to bring that to you starting from now. He's crossed the start-finish line, goes into first corner, putting two wheels on the grass on the outside.
Right now. This is Tao.
Oh, this is Tao. Apologies.
You're
So look at the line he's taken.
You're just excited.
I am. I love Road Lands. I think it's such a good track. If you couldn't tell from the intro I gave it, I think it is. It's been one of my favourite tracks that I've found through iRacing. I'll definitely say that.
So Tao's got a lot of empty road ahead of him. So take us through this lap with him.
Yeah, so lovely through the first corner, gets himself nice back over to the right for this tricky section on the brakes, downhill. You want to hit that curb that also unsettles the car, but you need to get a carriage as much speed as you can through this roller coaster section. So that corner there, that right-hander at the start of the downhill, one of the main places you're going to see people come off. This corner you attack both curbs, and he's attacked them too much, he's going to be put in the wall. You're going to see that a lot, because if you hit that inside curb, it unsettles the car. You've then got the outside curb, and now if you're not unsettled, when you get onto the outside curb, you're going to be fine. You're going to see a lot of cars running really wide there, using all of that outside curb and a bit more. Like, as the curb runs out, they're going to hit tarmac instead of grass, so you can go out there. But if you've already unsettled the car, and you're trying to put the throttle on as you hit that curb, you're gonna spit yourself to the inside wall. We saw Tao do it there. We saw the safety car do it in practice, and you're going to see it from somebody in the race, particularly if they're behind someone getting a little bit dirty air. They go a bit wide the lap before, they then try and turn it a little bit earlier to compensate the next lap. They hit that curb, it unsettles the car, they get on the throttle, they spin. It's a story as old as time, and we're going to see it here tonight. This is a lovely shot of the downhill. Really emphasizes just how steep that section is and how tricky it is. You're just hanging on for dear life.
What a brilliant shot
Trust
that
me,
is.
that will get your blood pressure rising going through there.
Now, I'll admit, Road Atlanta is not a track I am particularly good at. This one kicks my ass. For two reasons. The first being is that I'm not very good. The other one being is that there's so many hidden corners that you can't see. As you come uphill from turn one, you've got to move over on the left, and you just have to know where the corner is because you can't see it. And then as you come uphill again from the double right-handers, again you can't see the corner, and you just have to know where it is.
Broadcasting question for you: are you able to pause a scene? Because it'd be really great to get on board with someone as they're approaching that left-hander and then pause it so we can actually show them what you can see and what you're trying to use to judge when to turn it, because it is so difficult to do, and you're going to see people, lunatics, trying to go side by side through there in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just real quick though, Kenny has really tossed it down here. That's a 17.6. Now, remembering that the track is ramping up, so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, Conomos posting a lap time in the stratosphere there. That is above and beyond what anything else we've seen tonight.
Now, I've got Teo up on screen right now, and it's showing him as having a predicted lap time of about 17.9. So we'll see how good these predictions are going to be. 17.7, 17.8.
Looking good for Tao. Certainly good enough to put him into second. If he can get through the last corner without any issues, looks good to me. There you go. Second position, 17.991. So prediction just about bang on.
Yeah, so what I'm interested to see is perhaps if that's a representative time for Tao, or if he's got if he's got more.
Yeah, I think he went a little bit faster in practice. I feel like he's probably got a little bit more. Has he got a 17.645 in him? I'm not sure. And
he's just been unsettled again at the same spot he was last time.
That's going to eat into a bunch of his time to set another lap as well.
Now, Tao has been the dominant force in this series so far by a wide margin. I wonder if there might be some might not be some mind games going on here, perhaps.
It's when you see a lap time and you just can't figure out how they've done it. It feels impossible. It can be hard to overcome, and that's from someone that doesn't expect to be the fastest. But you know, if I get into a server and someone's posting lap times, 2 seconds beyond what I can do, and I just don't feel like there's that lap time on the board, it is really disheartening. And I imagine it's even worse the better racer you go. I'm certainly not anywhere near even the second tier of racers, but for someone like Tao, Jamie, Corey, if they're looking at that lap time and wondering how Kenny has done it, how he's put half a second on pretty much everyone in the grid, that can be really disheartening. And that's where, like you said, it's mind games. You're absolutely right. It's crushing your opponent before they even start to try and fight back. That's what Verstappen does, and it gets into people's heads. You saw it in you've seen it before. People don't fight him when he's coming through the pack like they fight Perez, because Perez isn't Verstappen. And you can imagine that for Kenny. After setting that lap time, if something goes wrong at the start of the race and he ends up back in the pack, people are going to let him through because he's already proven that he's faster.
Yeah, there's certainly certain people that you can have a race with, and there's certain people who that racing with are just going to cost you time, and so it's certainly about picking your battles. Now, one thing that we haven't talked about yet are the cars that we've got here tonight. So I'm seeing a couple of Lambos, Ferrari, some more BMWs. But it looks like the dominant car tonight is the Porsche.
Yeah, as it has been throughout the season. You get a new toy.
The BMW was very popular at Spa.
Well, this is true.
That was the car for Spa.
It's shifted more towards you are right. It has shifted definitively towards the Porsche for this race.
Yeah, so we saw this at our season opener at Fuji, wasn't it?
Yes.
So
yes,
the
Fuji.
Porsche was I think one of the faster cars that day. Very windy circuit. And then we saw it again at Daytona, where the Porsche was really quick through the infield, but maybe just lacked a little bit compared to some of the other cars along the straights.
Yeah, it did. And of course, Road Atlanta, not many straights. As you would have seen with our onboards, you're in corners for the vast majority of the lap. So you are going to have... that's going to give the Porsches definitely a slight advantage over the Beamers. But interesting to note, Connor who is the benchmark right now in the Beamer.
Yeah, and then we've got Tao in the Porsche, and it looks like he is going for another hot lap now as well. So we've jumped on board with him, and I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, we should also note, very quickly, Jamie Christensen has popped up into second place. So Tao gonna get nice and wide, not as wide as he'd like because that car was in the way. Turns in perfectly, gets over that curb on the inside so he can get the power on as early as possible for the downhill section. Don't know who he's going to lift here. I think you are going to have to lift for that right-hand downhill section, but still carrying enough speed to go up a gear into fifth, down into fourth for the left-hander, using all of the outside curve. That's exactly the line you want to be on, pretty much for that corner. Coming into the nice helpful right-hander. I think it's the only corner that actually feels like it's helping you. Then surprisingly blind second right-hander just to complete that 180-degree turn. The main overtaking opportunity, you want to get a good exit out of that corner, a better exit than your competitor, and then you follow them all the way down the straight, use the slipstream, that car ahead, probably providing a little bit of a tone to Tao, so that will help him out just a teeny bit. Would like to be ideally probably about half a second closer to the car ahead. Hard on the brakes into this chicane, using all of the curb and some of the dirt on the inside because that tyre is unloaded, so it's not going to spit you out if you hit the curb with the inside tyre. Then coming down the hill, pretty much, not quite flat, but close to it, certainly really early in the power. I think they'll be on the power just like before they hit the apex for that final corner and carrying as much speed as they can through.
So he hasn't managed to improve, and I think he's going to go for this one again, but he's really sucked up close to... I'm not sure who that is that's in front of him right now, actually.
Yeah, they're certainly going to be in the way if they don't back out of it soon. Hopefully the car in front's got enough speed to get through these two corners without holding Tao up, and then he's going to get a lovely toe down the straight. It spins out in front of him. That's
I don't know if
not
he's...
the worst.
I don't know if that's cost him or not. I don't know if he's if that's cost him any time yet. You know, we will find out. He still looks like he's still on for a 17.8, which I think is we're sort of toeing the line here about whether or not he's going to improve. But unless he comes up with a couple tenths in this last sector, it looks like he's going to stay maybe even third.
Yeah, he at best he might scrape second. He's no threat to Kenny from where he is now. To be fair, that's not saying much because I don't think anyone in the session has been a threat to Kenny. 17-17. That is a threat to Kenny.
Close. That is it.
He's within a tenth. Within a tenth in the Porsche. Hopefully, he's got enough fuel for another flying lap. Running out of time if he doesn't. 2.5 minutes to go in the session.
He got it unless he can. No, that's it. That's it. That's as good as he can do. Even if he resets and goes again, I don't think he can get around to do another lap. He needs 2 minutes 36, and that time's not on the board.
Yeah, so it looks like Tao, the best Tao can hope for is second. He is going back out though.
Well, he won't be putting a personal best in on his outlap, that's for sure.
Yeah, I believe crucially, if you finish a lap after the checkered flag, I don't believe that will count. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Once the checkered flag rolls, even if you're still on a lap, it'll just zap you straight back to the menu.
Yeah, so Tao not going to be able to get another lap in. Kenny Economos also on an outlap, needs to get to the line, just got to the line, so he will get his final lap in. He's timed that to perfection. Christensen, Orbistella, Bennett, Beaumont, Milne, Brunt, Bird, Horton, Grubb, all out on track, all looking to improve.
So who have we got that's currently turning corners?
I believe that was Fitzroy Beaumont we just saw there having an instant and zapping back to the pits.
Okay, well,
no, not him. I apologise. He's still on track. I thought it was 16. I think it was 61, so I believe that was David Atkinson.
Okay, looks like Fitzroy might be on for a 17.7 here. Sorry, a 17.9, which is a fairly competitive time. That should be good for fourth, I think. See where he ends up, unless he had a cheeky off track there that might have invalidated that lap. I am seeing an off track. Yeah. So he did set a 17.9, but he did get a little cheeky off track earlier, so that's unfortunately going to cement his position as sixth. So Aaron Obersteller. So Aaron has been fairly racy this series, but I don't know that I've seen him qualify in the top 5 yet. Yeah,
and Curtis Bird just crossed the line, not able to improve. Orbistella was on a lap, but wasn't able to improve, so he just pulled straight into the pits. But top 5, that's a really good qualifying result for Oberstella. Like you said, we haven't seen him up there quite in qualifying yet. Better race pace and qualifying pace, but he has put himself right in the thick of the action for the start of this race, and we won't have to wait long for the start because the checkered flag has fallen in qualifying and confirmed that Kenny Economos will take pole position for the first of our 2 races of the night. So here we go. Economos. Nope, we just lost the results for you. We'll bring those back up as soon as we can.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. Economos takes a stunning pole position. Tao Serrano, the only person anywhere close to him. Less than a tenth between the two cars on the front row. Then Jamie Christensen the third of 3 drivers to get into the 1 minute 17s. Aaron Obersteller, the next car on track in that striking livery. But just behind him, Corey Bennett rocking the traditional vermilion, black, red, and silver. Next to him, Fitzroy Beaumont with the more colourful rainbow Vermilion Motorsports livery. Then we got David Milne in the Porsche, 1.3 seconds back, and Matthew Brunt alongside him in 8th position. Battle of the Porsches on the 4th row. Porsches behind them in 9th and 10th, it's Horton and Bird. Then 11th and 12th is Ryan Grubb in the BMW and Thomas Byrne in yet another Porsche, this time rocking the Vermilion livery. We then got David Atkinson in the Ferrari in 13th and Brad Hayes alongside him in the Lamborghini in 14th, one of only 2 Lamborghinis in the field. Then we got another Beamer in 15th and Oliver Patterson in 16th, the Beamer of course being driven by Tom Brown. Back of the pack is Orlando Black. And the drivers currently are lining up behind the safety car. They'll be getting the riot act read to them from race control. And now is the time where traditionally we speculate on what we're going to see in the race, and I will let you go first, Mitch.
Okay, so speculation. So first I'd like to give a shout out to Brad Hayes, who is back. I remember we focused on him a little bit last week. I believe it was Brad, wasn't it, who wanted to finish in the top 10? That was his goal? Was that right?
Yes, it was.
Brad is starting 14th with only 4 positions to move up to that same goal, so fingers crossed. I feel like Oliver could be a mover this one. I feel like he's out of position.
Yeah, I can certainly see that being a factor. Interesting, I've just seen Ben Falconer's name in there. I didn't see him in qualifying, but
that's
if that's not a mistake, he's in the safety car. One of the safety car drivers. That's
Ben is the safety car. Okay. That would be we've got Ben Miles and Ben Faulkner as our safety car drivers, and I believe Orlando Black is race control for tonight.
Yes, I believe he is. And we're very thankful for the volunteers in race control for bringing us race control for every single race in the ANZ ESeries.
And Ben has just confirmed that yes, Oliver, Ben, and Orlando are all race control for tonight. So yes, a big thank you to the gentlemen that make all of this possible.
Yeah, and they're about to get a lot busier because it won't be long until we're underway. Probably only a minute or so before the safety car pulls away, and it will do a shortened safety car procedure. It won't be doing a full lap. It will just take the last 2 corners, pull into pit lane, and then we'll get racing from a running start, as is tradition in the GT3s, pulling that start procedure from endurance racing. And it means you get a less drama at the start, less overtakes, but you get a safe start, which is particularly for the longer races that we have for some of the rounds.
So I am so excited to see Kenny and Tao and Christensen, because we know that on race pace, Christensen has been able to keep up with Tao. So I am so excited to see like this 3-way battle and how it's going to progress throughout these next couple of races.
Yeah, and you're not going to have to wait much longer because the safety car has pulled away. They'll line up 2 by 2 behind it. The odd numbers on the left as you're looking at them now. The even numbered cars on the right. I say even numbered cars. Even numbered grid positions on the right. Allowed to have an overlap at the start as long as you're not ahead of the car on the other side if you should be behind. And they're coming around the final corner. So Kenny will decide when to put the hammer down. He's put the hammer down and they are side by side into the first corner. Jamie trying to get behind Conor Moss so that he can follow him around if he gets a better exit. But look at Tao around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. That's going to turn the outside. Is he going to be able to get ahead before he sweeps right? No, the side-by-side going through the roller coaster, and Tao has taken the lead. Conor Moss trailing right behind him. He's going to get a couple of opportunities throughout this lap to try and take that lead back if he can do so. In third place is Jamie Christensen, then Corey Bennett, then Bowman, and then Obersteller. Obersteller, one of the losers on the first lap, losing a couple of positions. Conor Moss right behind Serrano. The gap's a bit larger further back as people take it a little bit easy. Don't want to get caught in an accident through that downhill section, which I'm very impressed that the whole field has got through without an incident. And so, bit of a moment there. Not sure that was, I think that was Byrne just getting the back end out, but managing to control it before it plunged him into the wall on the inside. Now approaching the best overtaking opportunity on the track, and you can see multiple cars going 2 by 2 by 2 through there. Not going to be able to see who comes out ahead.
We'll just get a quick pass here, I think.
So this is a replay of the Boogie Bomb livery car. Can't quite make out who that is.
Joshua Alton?
Yeah, Joshua
Alton? It looks like he's going to, he's got the slipstream here.
So he has. It looks like he's
got the overlap too.
Forced to go around the outside at the first corner, but of course that becomes the inside for the second part of the chicane. So as long as you can stay roughly alongside, you get the advantage, and you get the advantage not just for this corner, but for the final corner as well. And the car is battling, deciding just to tuck in behind and not lose any more time trying to fight it out, because there are 2 Porsches right behind them looking to take any easy pickings at the lead for them. So now we are back to live pictures, watching Conor Moss take a watching brief on Tao, almost pushing him around that corner. It'll be interesting to see what the relative strengths are between the Porsche and the BMW around this track. We speculate that BMW is going to be stronger down that straight and the Porsche slightly stronger in the corners.
Well, then poor Tao's going to be under a lot of pressure as we come down to this these corners. He's taking that nice defensive inside line, and Kenny's going for the overlap. Not quite there. Not going to stick his nose where it doesn't belong on lap 2.
No, not on lap 2, but he's not going to have that long to effect an overtake, because laps are between a minute 20 and a minute 30 around here. Only 25 minutes. So you're going to get something in the region of 16, 17 laps in this race. So that's going to go very, very quickly. You don't want to fall into the pattern of endurance racing of just sticking behind the person in front, because you never know when you're actually going to get a decent opportunity to overtake them. All it takes is a few really strong laps, and you can cement your position in such a short race.
Now, did something happen to David Milne? He's like dropping really far back in this pack. Did he... Okay, it looks like he's gone in for a pit stop.
That's interesting. Makes me think he must have
some damage. Let's see if we can bring that up. Okay.
So what's going to happen here?
So this is Milne. This has happened on... Yes, this is definitely the opening lap. What's happened here? Can't even jump in. It's interesting that we didn't catch this when we were watching the overtake before, because that's Overstellar and Alton right in front of us that we caught that overtake on stream.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Is it interesting over that? Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on there. Apologies that we couldn't bring you the cause of the what we suspect is damage. And he's just leaving the pits now on his out lap.
So we're still looking at this replay. Oh, and that's where it is. Okay.
Just got the curve on the inside, unsettled the car.
Oh, and what an awful place for that to happen too.
And Joshua Horton's fallen down the pack now, so I think we might, if we come back to live in images, we might see an incident for Horton.
So let's have a quick look. Oh, that's not the direction you should be facing on track.
That looks like another incident at the... No, not at the final corner, so that's coming out of the left-hander at the bottom of what I'm deeming the roller coaster.
Okay, so I think there was something between Alton and Overstellar, so we'll see if we can bring this up.
And after you've finished showing us that, we should cut to live pictures from the front of the field, because Kenny and Tao have just been swapping positions 3 times this lap. Yes, getting it all...
Oh, it looks like he's probably just unsettled. Was that Aaron who was right behind him, I think?
I believe so.
Alright, so let's take you back to the start of this. To some live pictures of this race.
So you're now on board with Kenny Conor Moss, the leader. He hasn't been the leader for anything more than a few seconds. Him and Tao were side by side, pretty much from the chicane towards the end of the lap, all through the first couple of corners. But Conor Moss taking the lead from Tao, wrestling it from his vice-like grip eventually. And what that means now is Tao's going to get the help down the straight of the slipstream, but he's going to be too far back to come out and attack this lap. And he needs to stay with Economos because we know Economos has got blistering pace. And if you let him get away, that will be heat 1 wrapped up.
So he is catching him down the straight, but only by hundredths. Like, actually, only a tenth or two. So catching back up to him under brakes, but no, actually, Kenny's just getting away from him here.
Yeah, and that's the grunt of the Beamer. We spoke about it a little bit before. Not a surprise that it was the preferred option last time out, and Kenny putting that to good effect down the straight. It's not really long enough for the slipstream, particularly when Tao's that far back, almost second. It's just not enough for the slipstream to overcome the difference in straight line performance. And I'm just seeing Obersteller dropping down the order, so I think he's coming stuck somewhere.
Looks like Aaron has pitted, so I would say that what's happened. Do you remember Aaron got caught up?
Yeah,
without him?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so I'd say he's just pitting for some damage that he's picked up from that.
Either that or a instruction from race control. If they deem that there was a party at fault, haven't seen anything in the race control.
No, nothing from race control yet. So I'm presuming that it's just just one of those racing moments where someone in front of you has a bit of a moment, and then you're just kind of a passenger, right?
Yeah, very much. It's surprising the amount of times that you're a passenger in a race car when you've got all the controls. But it definitely does happen. You're just a victim of circumstances. That's going to be half your crashes. So just watching Tao Serrano, we're hoping he can go with Kenny Economos, but Economos putting in 1 minute 18.1, the fastest lap of the session. Tao only able to do it at 18.7. The gap at front out to 1.4 seconds. Fitzroy Beaumont within half a second of Tao Serrano. So I think, if anything, Tao's going to have to stop looking forward and start driving on his rearview mirror. Otherwise, he's going to lose position to Beaumont and Christensen behind him. There's a gaggle of 3 cars that are all close enough that there might be a threat to Tao unless he can up his pace.
So let's have a look at our big movers here. So Tom Brown up 7. Aaron Obersteller down 9, David Milne down 8, so everyone above them has just naturally inherited a little bit of a spot. Fitzroy Beaumont up 3. I think 2 of those Aaron and Milne.
Yeah,
does that sound right? And Christensen would have been ahead of Fitzroy as well, so that'll be the other one. Corey Bennett staying neutral at 5th. Ryan Grubb up 5. Matthew Brunt-Force Trauma up 1, and I believe that pretty much covers our field now.
Yeah, absolutely right. Matthew Brunt in 7th. He's someone that could spring a surprise. We know he's got bucket loads of pace when he turns it on. And just covering Brad Hayes, who we mentioned at the start of the race. We know he's just aiming for top 10s. It started in 14th, still in 14th, and a fair bit behind the pack. So not going to be able to crack the top 10 of this race.
Look at this for a second. Fitzroy Beaumont is putting the pressure on Tao here.
Yeah, only 0.3 of a second behind in that.
Actually, he was looking for a move into turn 1. Fitzroy's feeling racy tonight.
That is racy, because turn 1's not an overtaking opportunity. Not really. Not unless the person in front of you goes off track.
Do you think it's more of a, put a little bit of pressure on him and see if you can get him to crack?
Yeah, it's one of those, you might show yourself on the entrance to turn 1 and just make them second guess their braking point if you can. Because it's so easy to go off there. If you can upset the car ahead in front, intimidate them somehow, then you can make them, you can force a mistake and get the position that way. But you're unlikely to go side by side through turn 1 successfully many times in a row. Not unless you're well alongside down the start finish straight. So there's no big braking maneuver.
So I thought Fitzroy in the BMW with the toe might have been able to get a bit of overlap on Tao running down that straight there.
Yeah, I think Tao got a really good exit onto the straight, and that helped him out a lot, and he's just putting a much better lap time this time around. A 1 minute 18.491, only a tenth behind Conor Mossy put in a 1 minute 18.4. Beaumont did a 1:18.8. Christensen at a 1:18.6. So Tao faster than the 2 cars behind him, not quite as fast as the car ahead of him. But if he keeps doing that, of course he'll hold on to his position.
So I didn't expect coming into this that we were going to see Kenny run away. Like, I knew Kenny was fast, but what we saw in practice and what we saw in qualifying, I think I was expecting a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say.
Look, I'm not saying I'm disappointed. That's not what I'm saying.
You know when you say that's not what you're saying, it almost always is what you are saying.
That's like the version of I'm not racist, but isn't it? That's just what I've done.
Yeah, and thankfully you haven't said that on the broadcast yet. Alright, so let's take stock. We're about halfway through the race, so let's take stock of the battles on track. Tao's in a tight battle for second place with Fitzroy Beaumont and Jamie Christensen. Kenny Conamos, of course, in the lead, 1.8 seconds ahead, and he's just put in the fastest lap of the race, a 1 minute 18 dead. I think he may be the first car to enter the 1 minute 17s in this race. Further down, you've got Matthew Brunt in 7th, trying to defend from Tom Brown in 8th. Only a second between the two of them, and Tom Brown lapping quicker than Brunt currently. And those are the closest battles on track. There's a couple of other that threaten to develop. Horton behind Bird, Horton continuing his recovery drive. Obersteller behind Horton. The two of them might get head up. And I think Tao's had a problem. Is that him pulled over? Slow down?
No, that is Tao. That is Tao. He's Tao's gone for a spin, I think.
Let's see if we can get a replay of what's happened there. Is
We
that a spin or
absolutely get a replay of this.
or a slow down?
Okay.
That's a heavy impact with the wall at the bottom of the hill.
We can get this. We can get this. Oh, so this is where he came unstuck in qualifying.
Yes, we saw this a couple of times from Tao.
Oh, he's
just
just
taking
caught
too
a
much
little bit of
curve.
gravel. Yeah.
Just carrying too much speed and hitting the gravel on the outside, and from there he was smashing it. No way he was going to be able to control that, keep it out of the wall. So he hits the wall on the outside, hits it on the inside, and he is dropping down the order like a stone.
He's gone into pit. So again, Tao is still yet to have a clean race weekend. Well, I say weekend, but
yeah, that's really going to hurt. For 4 rounds in, plenty of time to get your feet under the desk, and still yet to really have that race that he's threatened to do. He's looked so good. He's threatened to really pull it together and be a championship contender. And it's just, he could make his life so much easier, but he's just made a few mistakes, had a bit of bad luck. It's a shame when he's shown so much potential.
yeah. So I still think he's probably still going to come away tonight leading the championship. Depending on what happens with the rest of the weekend, because he is ahead, and we don't have Connor Nixon tonight, who is second. So there's a good chance that he's going to come away still in the lead. And because Kenny, even if he wins both of these races, he still hasn't been here for the last three races. So there really isn't enough time for him to catch back up.
Yeah, Kenny is just in it for the fun, in it for the glory, in it for a few race wins, and I dare say with a performance like tonight, so far, if he hangs around for the next 3 rounds, he will be the favourite going into each and every round, such as the pace that he has displayed so far around Road Atlanta. You're right, Tao, I was a little bit harsh earlier. Tao's still having a very good season, he's leading it, but he's under threat, isn't he? And he could be not under threat. He could be not under threat, that's what I'm trying to say.
He has the option, not the option, but he had the potential to be Verstappening this series.
Yeah,
Verstappen. We've had another crash too. I believe Ryan Grubb.
Yeah, let's cut and have a look at that. You say Verstappening, I say Palauing.
Yeah, that tells you exactly which series we watch, isn't it?
No, I do love me some.
There he is. He's come on stuck on the inside there.
At the corner, I kept
the
saying
helper
was
corner?
the helper corner.
Yeah, the one that helps you? Yeah, that one.
It's helped him too much there. Helped him to the inside wall, which is not what you want at that corner. Back to live pictures. A nice little 3-car battle developing there. So that's Burn. That was Burn ahead of Bird, ahead of Horton that we saw in the background of that establishing shot. There you go. You can see the 3 of them. That's Horton alongside Bird going into the first corner. Bird blinks first, brakes early, doesn't want to compromise his line, and just tucks in behind Horton. Two very similar liveries on the Horton and Bird car. But look at the pace Horton's got, already dropping Bird, looking to put pressure on Burn already, and I think Bird might be falling into the clutches of Overseller behind him. Less than 3/4 of a second between the two cars, and less than half a second between Horton and Burn. So we're going to see a few changes of position this lap. If Horton gets his way, good exit for Burn. That might be enough to defend from the Porsche behind him.
Yeah, that is, I think, 4/10 is going to be enough of a gap. Although, I've been wrong before. But not right now. Oh, he gives him the cheeky little switchback and sends it right up the inside. What a beautiful move. Pushes Alton-off onto the grass, but they're going to go side by side up through the penultimate corner. He's going to come out ahead here. Side by side, down the main straight again. This is some incredible racing by these guys.
That was so brave from Horton, and Burn's going to lose a second position. They're losing the position to Bird. Really great from Bird to capitalise, really opportunistic. And you just saw Bird had to compromise his entry into the final corner because he was so narrow after the battle with Horton. Horton swept around the outside, which was a really brave move to trust the car on the inside. Isn't going to understeer and take up the bit of track you're aiming for. And I think if you could do it again, Burn would have pushed his luck a little bit more, pushed a little bit more to the outside, carried a little bit more speed because he sacrificed not one but two positions.
That's Burn in the background there.
Oh no. Let's see if we can get a replay of what's happened there. Oh, that's another car off. So that's at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, that's Burn. It's just an unforced error. He was in front.
So yeah, Burn having an unforced error at the bottom of the hill, and that's dropped him all the way down into 14th position.
Is this a safety car? I think he needs to be towed.
Yes, safety car is out on track. The number 56, driven by Ben Miles. He's about to pick up car 134, Matthew Brunt, and Tom Brown behind him. I think he'll let those cars through and look to pick up the leader when he gets back around.
Well, this has just changed. This has changed everything.
It certainly has. That lovely little comfortable buffer that Conomas has built up, that's been wiped out. He's going to have Christensen in second place right behind him, then Beaumont, then Bennett.
So the other thing I would like to point out here is that Fitzroy Beaumont at some point lost second place to Christensen.
He did. We haven't actually been able to see that move yet. Any chance we can fish it out of the replay pile?
Oh, I think we can. I think we can do just that.
So Ben saying that Kenny Economist's balloon has been burst. Given the reference I made to him having a lap time in the stratosphere earlier, I'd say he's been brought back down to earth. As we see Ben Miles let through the cars that are at the lead of this race, which is everyone except Kenny. Of course, Kenny's just coming through turn 3 for the roller coaster section, so he'll catch the safety car in about 30 seconds time. In the meantime, any luck with that replay?
Still looking through our history to try and grab that one. You'd be amazed at just how much there is to pick up.
I would not be amazed. This race has been non-stop action from go until now. As soon as the lights are off, these drivers are becoming absolute animals. And they're just determined to give us a good show, and a good show we have had. And there you go, the safety car now picking up the leader. He'll do at least a lap from here, I would assume, and that's going to take us probably down to 1, maybe 2 laps of racing. Rest of the pack, at the back of the pack.
Okay, I've got it now. You ready? This is Jamie Christensen getting it done on Detroit Beaumont.
So down the inside into the chicane, as clinical as you like.
Nice and clean, that is. That's beautiful.
Yeah, Beaumont not able to mount a rebuttal, such was the pace that Christensen was able to carry through the chicane. Facebook. I also saw Brad Hayes look like he had a little bit of an incident trying to catch the safety car just in the in that downhill section coming over the crest of the hill. But he's got back going. He'll catch this queue, not this lap, but the safety car's going to go around again, so he'll have plenty of time. Can take it easy. Thomas Byrne, car 21, he was in the pits. He's come back out. He will catch the back of this queue. And this is a great opportunity for the likes of Tao, Augustella, Horton, who are out of position given the pace of the show. Byrne as well at the back of the field. He was running in the top 10 beforehand. If they've got the pace, they can make 3 or 4 positions before the end of this race if they are absolutely on it with the wheel-to-wheel combat. But they're only going to get 1 lap to do it because there's only a couple of minutes left in this race.
Oh, that's right. By the time the safety car goes around, we have this is a 1-lap shootout, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be all
Can you
about...
say Abu Dhabi 21?
Oh, I don't know. Don't. I'll have nightmares. It's going to be awful. And this was a much more deserved safety car. And this safety car is going to follow the proper procedure. Because Ben is not going to let the procedures not be followed. He's too good at running the series.
Don't tell me you're a Hamilton fan.
I'm not a Hamilton fan so much as someone who's not a fan of Christian Horner.
Oh, okay, that's fair. He does rub people the wrong way. That's very true.
Although I'm cheap to buy, I'm willing to change my opinion should Ricciardo get into the second Red Bull seat.
I could fanboy over that.
That is the cost of my love. Either that or Piastri.
I think if we're doing F1 for a minute while the safety car's still out, I think, in my opinion, Perez is already gone. He just doesn't know it yet.
I think
he's getting paid to sit 2024 out on the sidelines.
Yeah, I think it's why we're waiting for the safety car to get to the start and then we get racing again. I'm going to say that I think that who's in that car next year is down more to Ricciardo's performance now than Perez's. I think they know what Perez's peak is, and over 2 seasons now he's gone missing in the middle of the season. And look how close McLaren have been the last couple of races. Not close enough to threaten them this series with the advantage, but if they've been like this all series, you'd be really nervous about Perez constantly in second place. And if Ricciardo puts Tsunoda in his place, then you're going to back Tsunoda over him. But we're going to have to stop talking about it because these cars are about to go racing. Conor Moss is about to lead the field away. He is effectively the safety car. He decides when racing will resume. He will put his throttle down when he wants it. It looks like he's gone now, taking as much speed as he can through the final corner. Not worried about the slipstream. And look at the gap that he's put on Christensen. A brilliant getaway for Conor Moss. Christensen, likewise, comfortable from Beaumont behind him. Corey Bennett is in 4th, Brunt in 5th, Brown is in 6th position, and so far, who's that? Is that Atkinson pulling to the inside at the first corner? I think it was. Atkinson is at the back of the pack. I'm not sure what happened there. I think he must have had an incident coming onto the start finish straight. Otherwise, the cars are one by one through the roller coaster, and we're going to have to wait to see what happens going to the chicane, because that's the big overtaking on maneuver. I think if you're one of these cars, you don't go for something ballsy. You wait for that chicane and you get the overtake done when there is no chance to come back at you. So just watch these cars down the straight and look for who's going to pull out and really go for something special. on the
some
final
pretty
lap.
big
Yeah.
gaps developing. So does it look like any of the front runners are going for any of those dives going into the chicane?
No, Kenny Connor-Moss looks like he's going to win this race. There was a move a bit further back. Curtis Bird up into 9th place. Towler's position. He goes down 10th. Atkinson's in 11th. Oberstella Hayes and my standing doesn't get a run. So Connor-Moss is first. Christensen second. Beaumont third. Bennett fourth. Brunt fifth. Brown sixth. Grubb 7th. Sereno 8th. Horton 9th. Nope, because I've got someone falling down my standings. Oh, we'll get you the official results now.
We've got the official results right.
I'm being
here.
let down by technology. We've got Connor-Moss who takes the lead, takes the victory. Christensen in second. Beaumont rounds out the podium in our first of 2 races tonight. Corey Bennett's in 4th, just misses out a second behind Beaumont. Then you've got Matthew Brunt in 5th, Brown in 6th, Grubb in 7th, Serrano in 8th, Bird in 9th, and Horton in 10th. Oberstella's in 11th. Hayes falls 2 positions short of his goal of a top 10. Finishes in 12th. Atkinson's in 13th. Byrne in 14th. Milne in 15th. And Patterson and Black are early casualties.
Milne, Patterson, and
race.
Black are our race controls.
Yeah, so they didn't race.
Well, Milne did lead a couple laps there.
Yeah, Milton did race.
I don't know if I'd call it a race.
It said he was 1 lap back. Whereas the others were 14th. So he must... What? Was that correct? Because it said he only finished 1 lap back.
No, sorry, I confused him with Miles. I confused Milne with Miles. That's my bad.
I was going to say.
We're nothing but professional here.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We're so professional.
Now, I believe we have a short break before we get to our final reverse grid. Is that right?
I want to say yes. I believe they have the 5-minute warm-up in between. Otherwise, they'd already be gridding. So this must be the warm-up. And it's not 5 minutes. It's got 1 minute, 15 seconds left. I've got the timer. Don't know why I'm guessing when I have a timer. So it's just a short 2-3 minute warm-up in between the 2 races. It's so peaceful when there's not many cars on track.
I know. I mean, just look at it. We've got our crowd. We've got our audience. You know, Chopper Dave is probably hanging around up there.
Yeah, I'm sure Barney's getting a cup of coffee, resting after some furious arm waving.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that man must be absolutely jacked.
Yeah, he is absolutely everywhere at all times, and that arm goes. It goes some. If you could tie a hamster wheel or something to that car, you would get enough power for the lights at the track.
Have you ever seen? There's this arm wrestler dude. He's the world champion in arm wrestling, and just one arm is absolutely stacked. Did you ever see that episode of Rick and Morty where he's got like this demon arm? The dude looks like that legitimately.
Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about, and those guys are absolutely insane. The thing that gets me is you watch their matches and the amount of injuries they get just from the forces that they exert. Oh, no. There's actually a guy at my old work who used to do competitive arm wrestling.
There's actually a lot more to it than people think that there is. Like if you spend even just a cursory amount of time looking up arm wrestling techniques, you could beat a lot of people that you've got no business beating.
Yeah, definitely a great party trick to pull out with your mates, and a great way to earn a little bit of cash, dare I say, if you've got some mates that like a little flutter on a bit of arm wrestling.
I was gonna go with this one. I do remember sharking a few mates of mine at pool one time. I used to play like every Thursday night with a friend of mine. We used to go down to a local bar, local club, and we would just challenge people for the table. The custom was that you would put your $2 coin on the table, and that meant either we're next, or you play them for the table. And so we would just go down there, put our $2 coin, and just do doubles of people every other Thursday night. We did okay. It was pretty good. We shocked a few people. I remember at a work party once, someone challenged me.
I'm going to
in a pool
interrupt
game.
you because the race.
Oh, we're off.
I'm going to interrupt you because the race is about to start. Joshua Horton's going to lead them away because we have because of course we had a reverse top 10. They are 2x2 set up, and I tell you what, he's absolutely nailed it from the very start. And I think they've been at racing speed through all the last 3 corners. I think he just waited and then absolutely put the hammer down. No, none of this wait until just before the start-finish line. He just absolutely sent it, and Tal Serrano's up into 2nd place already. Orbistella, Hayes, and Atkinson moving up. Hayes back up into 12th. Orbistella in 11th. Conor Moss, our leader from race 1, stays in 10th place, not able to make any positions on the opening lap. We just saw a move there down the inside, coming down the hill.
I swear I just saw a little bit of carbon flying there too.
Yeah, I think someone might have come unstuck there. I haven't seen anyone tumbling down the timing screens though, and I just realised I'm looking at the one that isn't accurate on the first lap. So we've got Horton, then Serrano, then Berg, then Brown, then Grubb, then Beaumont, then Bennett. Then Conor Moss, Byrne, Orbistella, Hayes, Atkinson, Milne, Brunt, and Christensen. Christensen's had an incident. He's at the back of the field. That's Christensen and Brunt in the back of that shot.
Oh no, Christensen! Christensen's always right up in the thick of it.
Yeah,
that'll be devastating for him.
I'm going to see if I can get you to fix the checker flag on the GT3 side at the top left, because it is not the checker flag. And Horton and Serrano are side by side for the lead of the race, going for the chicane. I believe Serrano was on the outside, Horton on the inside. Bird keeping a watchful, both hoping to collect the pieces if the two of them were to collide. No collision yet. Serrano and Horton still side by side as they cross the start-finish line. So you go, Horton pops out ahead of Serrano. That is Grubb and Beaumont side by side into the first corner, with Conor Moss right behind them. Conor Moss making up 3 possessions. He's in 7th place, having started the race in 10th. Now this battle pack you've got there, that's Beaumont, then Grubb, then Conor Moss, then Bennett, then Orbistella. They cannot be separated on track. They're going to be swapping positions left, right and centre.
Oh no!
It's where Beaumont now losing positions. He's had an incident. That's him sideways across the track. That might be a safety car if he has to tow. Ooh, car behind him trying to get through. It's Christensen diving to the ground to try and avoid him. I think him and Brunt have both got through safely. And judging by the timing screen, Beaumont yet to get away, so I think that car may be well and truly total. Serrano is in the lead of this race. Horton second, so he's managed to make the manoeuvre.
Beaumont has towed. He has towed.
So I'll have to wait and see whether there will be a safety car. Serrano desperately trying to hold off Horton just in case there is. That's Bird in 3rd place, ready to get involved in the scrap first, and then Brown in 4th. And they've got a 2.4 second gap over that man, Kenny Conor Moss, the big dog. In race 1, can he do it again? In race 2, just 4 cars down behind him, between him and a double. Brown puts in the fastest lap of the race. So if I know that's going to be must, that's going to be obliterated on the next lap. It's Brown in 4th place currently, going fastest. You got Orbistella in 6th place. He's got Bennett not far behind him, only 0.7 of a second between the two of them. Bennett trying to defend from Grubb, half a second between the two of them. Byrne within a second of Grubb, and there's just been a couple of position changes. Byrne and Brown changing positions. Brown's falling down the order. I think Brown has had an incident.
Brown. Yeah, so we're on board with Brown. This is his crash here.
So this is going to be at the bottom of the hill again. Yeah,
the same place that caught Tao out earlier as well. That corner's been getting everybody.
That's the 4th time we've seen that exact same incident. If you could just change the paint, it would be a pretty accurate reflection of what's happened for each of those incidents. So this is now Brown side by side with Christensen, and Christensen getting in there for 12th place.
Yeah, I feel like Christensen's just going to, unfortunately, just going to gap Brown here. I don't think Brown's no one to scoff at, but I think Christensen's just in a different league.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And as is Tao out front, he's put 1.6 seconds on Horton. which is a comfortable lead no matter how you look at it. And then you've got Bird in third place, 0.7 behind Horton. So I think Horton's going to struggle to hold on to the podium positions here because he's got Bird behind him, Economos within a second of Bird, and then Obersteller only 3 seconds further back. And then you go, Economos has just got Bird into third place, and next for him will be Horton in the Boogie Bomb liveried Vermilion car. Of course,
so
the Boogie Bomb.
Moving on, Joshua Alton now.
So that's Economos behind him.
That's Economos. Okay.
And then behind this battle pack of 3, you got another battle pack of 3, which is Obersteller, Bennett, and Grubb. Serrano now 2.1 seconds ahead of Horton. Economos is in third place. Bird's in fourth, Obersteller in fifth, Bennett in sixth, and Grubb in seventh. I think we're going to have a great view when Economos comes past. Economos has had so much pace here tonight. I don't think Horton's going to be able to keep him behind. Not that Horton is a slouch or anything. Oh, how close is that to contact?
I would have sworn he was pushing him around that corner if you'd asked me.
I was waiting for the camera to crack. That's what I was waiting for. That's what you need to add next to iRacing. A camera cracking if someone taps them in the back, like we see in the Formula E quite often. So this will be the move. This is coming down into the chicane. Economos is going to have the inside. Horton's going to try and hang out on around the outside. And there's contact, and Horton's off. And Horton comes straight back onto the track. Ahead of Economos. No, there's Economos and Bird getting through. No, Economos behind him, so it's just Bird getting through. So did Economos slow down to let him...
I think Economos lost out to Alton behind him.
Can we get a replay of what happened there from an offboard?
I believe we can. Okay, so I think I think Kenny definitely maybe attempted to readdress that and himself, and in doing so has also let Alton through.
Yeah, that's 100% what's happened. Houghton's actually got Bird back now, so Houghton's back into second, Bird's in third, Economos is in fourth.
Also, take this brief moment of calm, just to say hello to everybody that is in chat tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. Let us know, I guess in the doobly-doo, how you're feeling about this race tonight as we go, two by two through the bus stop?
Yeah, and Economos is going to get Bird going around the outside. At the second part of the chicane, he's going to have the preferred line through the first corner, and yeah, he's going to hold on to that position. Bird now trying not to let Obersteller pass, but Obersteller is side by side with him, and Bird has dropped down all the way to seventh.
Oh, that's
place.
devastating for Bird. He's just lost, what, 4 positions in a corner and a straight.
Yeah, had to compromise that run onto the first corner. Nobody else was compromised. Everybody else was in a solid line and not able to fit back into that line to stop the rot. Everyone toe to tail. So they just all went through with their superior pace through that final corner. And now we've got Economos in third. And look at the gap to Tao Serrano out front. 7 seconds. 7 seconds. Only 16 minutes to go. It's going to take a miracle for either Horton or Economos to catch Serrano. Serrano is absolutely blitzing it out front. A 1 minute 18.6 last lap compared to 1 minute 20s for those in this battle pack.
Now,
so
Kenny, he's got a half second on Alton here, and then 7.5 to get to Tao Serrano with 15 minutes left. Do you think he can do it?
No, I don't think he can do it, but I think he's going to give it an absolutely red-hot go. Further down, Christensen's got back ahead of Hayes, who was briefly running in 10th place, which is his goal in this series. So hopefully he can find a position from somewhere, Ken Hayes, and get back into that 10th position. We're on board on the front bumper of Kenny Colomos, staring at the rear end of Horton. And Colomos getting a better run through that first corner. It's going to get nice and close as they come through this roller coaster.
Looks like Kenny's playing it safe. I think I feel like he left a little bit on the table in that corner there. Like I feel like you can take more off tracks. Well, not more off tracks, but just a little bit more curb than perhaps he did. Do you think he's going to go for a move here? He's having a quick peek. He's going to play it easy. I think he might just look for it down the straight.
Yeah, I think he knows there's a better opportunity coming in a few seconds' time if he is patient and gets a good run out of this corner. But look at Horton, got a great run out of that corner. That might be enough to protect him from Colomos behind. I just want to see, did you see the amount of curb that Horton took out of that left-hander at the bottom of the hill? He went all over the curb, all onto the tarmac. The back end of that car was squirming around compared to Colomos, who took it tighter, took a much safer line, but somehow was able to carry more speed. And Horton's gotten deep there. That's going to open the door for Colomos. He's going to get a good run out of the chicane. Going to be put under the pressure into the final corner, and then into the first corner. Carries more speed. Is he going to be able to get alongside on the straight? No, he's going to have to settle for sitting behind him for a little bit longer.
At least another half lap here.
Yeah, and Horton.
Brad Hayes might have crashed. Not Brad Hayes. Not Hayes.
He has. He's crashed at the final corner. And so has David Milne. David Milne's going slow at turn 11. So not sure if something's happened between the two of them. Hayes has been able to continue on. Car 16 was going a bit slow there as well, which is Fitzroy Beaumont. So
okay.
something's gone on.
Oh, that's right. Fitzroy crashed out. I was about to say, what's happened to Fitzroy? But then I remembered. Kenny's got the big overlap here. He might even get this done before they get to the braking zone.
Oh, touching doors a little bit. Colomos and Horton. And Kenny Colomos. Oh, Horton goes back at him. Look how late he's broke.
Kenny's giving him the switchback though. We'll see if he can sort of get back up alongside as they come up along the straight.
Oh, that's beautiful from Horton. That was absolutely wonderful.
You're spot on. The way that he moved over to sort of block... Well, not block, because it wasn't a reactive move. It was a... what would you call it? Proactive move. So he moved over knowing that Kenny had the run on him. He moved to the inside knowing that that's exactly where Kenny was going to go to make that inside. So we blocked the inside as we're coming around that little bend, the penultimate bend on the track. And that just took all the wind out of Kenny's sails.
Yeah, and through the chicane, he absolutely compromised the second part of the chicane to get the first part of the chicane right. But he knew that left the only option for Kenny to be the undercut, and he compromised the second part so much he was able to cut back in front of him, like you said, and stop him having that run and being able to use that run to get a better position for the final corner. They're side by side through here, and Kenny Colomos looking to make sure it's done before the chicane this time around. Look at him weaving a little bit on the straights. Nothing from race control to look at there.
He's picked his side though. He's going to the outside.
How late dare Horton break? I think Colomos is there this time round, so he's not going to be able to cut back ahead. No, he has. The thing is, we've seen time and time again, that inside line into the final corner doesn't work. You have to compromise your speed too much if you don't absolutely optimize how wide you get on entry. So Colomos doesn't want to do that. If he doesn't get the move done before then, he's pulling out of it.
We've got a crash in the background there too. I believe that's Tom Brown.
Yeah, Tom Brown has definitely fallen down the order and continues to fall down the order.
And Alton acting a little bit like the cork in the bottle here. You're starting to get a little bit of a chain going on. For a while it was just Kenny and Aaron was sort of like a second behind him.
And that was Corey Bennett holding the power slide. Loses a few positions, but he's done so well to keep it out of the wall. I obviously don't think he'll care about losing the positions. He'll just be so thankful that he's not picked up any damage.
Relieved. Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Something just happened. Let's
That's one. Horton, Orbistella,
Okay,
Carlos,
all right.
all involved.
All right, let's see what happens here. So Kenny's right up behind him. Did he give him a little nudge there by accident, or did Alton just spin on his own?
I think he gave him a nudge by accident. We'll have to get another look at that. Not sure why Oberstella's gone off as well. So I think there's two separate incidents there.
Okay, let's go back and have a quick look. We can get all right. So back on board. This is the nose cone of Kenny.
So he gets real close.
Contact? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, he got right up inside him. I think he just wasn't expecting him to brake quite like that. He was expecting him to carry a bit more speed.
I think that's absolutely right.
Then I'm not quite sure what's happened at the rest of that corner.
Let's see if we can get a look at Oberstella's car from the outside through that incident. What it's done is put Corey Bennett, who we saw having a little bit of spin, up into 4th place, and Grubb into 2nd place and Bird into 3rd.
Okay, so this is Oberstella's view. So we're watching Oberstella as we come through this corner. And the camera is just not going to move for this. Okay. Thank you, camera.
It moved. You promised me it wouldn't do that.
I promise lots of things.
And Colomos and Horton are resuming hostilities. They've been swapping positions this lap. And I think Colomos has finally, after a few laps in an incident, got ahead of Horton. So we'll bring that overtake to you once we figure out what's happened to Oberstella. I know we're back to live pictures, aren't we? Here?
Yeah, we are back to live pictures now. So this is it.
So Tower's in 1st place, Grubb is in 2nd place, Bird is in 3rd, Christensen is up into 4th, up 5 places from where he started, Corey Bennett's in 5th, Conomos is in 6th, trying to chase down Corey Bennett, Horton's in 7th, trying to hold on to Kenny Conomos. We've then got Bird in 8th, Orbistella in 9th, he was the big loser in all of that, Matthew Brunson 10th, Atkinson's in 11th, Hayes is in 12th, and then Brown and Beaumont are both a lap down, with David Miller down 3 laps.
And after all of this, after what happened to Jamie Christensen on the first lap, I mean, he's back up in 4th.
And you wouldn't rule out a podium from here.
Oh, absolutely. Yo, absolutely not. He's got 7 minutes and 2.5 seconds to catch up to Bird.
And that was just Bird and Grubb going side by side through the chicane.
We'll bring you this battle now, actually.
I think this is going to be a 3-car battle very shortly if they keep costing themselves time with the likes of Christensen behind him. He's already pulled in a second of that gap whilst these two duke it out. Grubb maintaining the position from Bird.
You know, I'm going to call it. If you're within a second of the car in front of you, you're in the battle, which means that we've got 4 cars battling for P2 now.
And that's Brown ahead of Grubb on track, not which is a lapped runner. So you're going to see him pop out of the way.
By Bird. He might be vulnerable here.
Look how fast Christensen is. We saw that gap at the start of the lap, and it is absolutely being gobbled up halfway through the lap. Oh, that has badly compromised Grubb there. Brown not able to get out of the way in time, and that's put Bird right on his tailpipe.
Oh, he's a sitting duck.
If any of them had the aircon on, they'd be sucking in the exhaust fumes of the car ahead. That's how close they are.
This feels like our spiciest race yet.
This is spicy. This is tell your mom not to take a bite. This is get the milk on standby spicy. And I'd be shocked if these 3 make it through without some sort of contact.
It's been spicy, and we've had some great close racing, and I've had a couple of little spats up and down the field on this one. I think this is my favourite race of the season so far.
And I should correct myself. Some moms love spicy food. My mom does not. So that was the reference I was making, was specifically to my mom. I once ate something, was confused because I ordered a spicy and thought there was no spice. Gave it to her, and she couldn't handle it. And I genuinely thought there was no spice.
Is your mum me? Because that sounds like me.
I mean, she may be Daddy. I don't know. Anyway, we've got Curtis Bird in the middle of this battle pack. Grubb at the lead of it. Christensen behind him. Bennett getting involved as well. And look who that is. That's Economos. Economos, after being involved in an incident battling for second, is back in the battle for second place. And we've got 6 minutes to go.
Well, we'll add another car to this little battle. He's, I said that the benchmark for me is within a second, and he is within a second of the car in front. But yeah, we've got 5 cars battling for P2.
And that's Bird down the inside of Grubb. Just pulls alongside. Grubb's going to fight him through this chicane. That's going to put him into a compromised position for the first corner, but he's not going to give it up without a fight. He's going to stay there. He's going to break into the first corner. No, we're going too wide.
Corey Bennett's
now we're going to go pretty wide. So that's Bird on the outside. And it's as you were. So Christensen, in all of that, Christensen's got ahead of Bird. So it's Grubb, Christensen, Bird, Bennett, Economos. Look at the 5 of them. Each knows a podium is on the table. An unlikely podium for pretty much every driver in this battle pack. How they want that treasured silverware. They are going to do everything they can to get it with only 4 laps remaining. Grubb is at the lead of the battle pack. Then it's Christensen. Christensen looking, threatening here. Nice and close, coming onto the straight. Grubb puts his car in the middle. Tells Christensen to pick a side. No, Christensen's going to sit behind him. No one making a move into the chicane. That's 1 lap survived for Grubb. Can he do it 3 or 4 more times?
Now, I saw earlier from Alton some of the most impressive defending that I have seen in this series so far. Can Grubb do the same thing?
Well, he's provided a blueprint, hasn't he, for how to keep a faster car behind him. And he did it brilliantly. So he's been shown the way, has Grubb. Now he's just got to implement it.
Yeah, Christensen is probably he's in the top 3 of the fastest guys in this series. Yeah, he's consistently been right on Tail's tail this whole season.
This would be a huge scalp for Grubb if he's able to keep Christensen, Bird, and Bennett behind him, and Economos. Economos is in this battle pack as well. Bennett, Economos, and Christensen, they're some of the fastest drivers you're ever likely to come across, and Grubb is trying to keep them back.
Oh, he's taking a bit more dirt.
That's it. That's Christensen's
got him. That's just a freebie. Christensen dusts his hands up and goes, "Thank you very much."
That's exactly what Christensen would have been hoping for secretly. Every driver will tell you they love the battle, but secretly they want to get a nice, easy overtake like that.
Yeah, Grubb's not looking to give it up. He did, have a little peek on the inside there, but I think Christensen's got just a bit too much speed in hand. He's already pulled out a half second on him, just down the straight and through that first chicane.
Yeah, so 2 laps to go. He's going to pull away from this battle pack. It's now going to be a battle for 3rd place, I believe, between Grubb, Bird, Bennett, and Economos. Grubb going a little bit wide into that first corner. That would have compromised him a little bit. God, doesn't Bennett look racy in the Lamborghini?
Oh, he's here to race for sure, but like right behind him, right on his gearbox, the man himself, Kenny Economos. Now this is a view that I would not want to have in my rear view mirrors.
No, absolutely not. And Corey Bennett taking the very defensive. Oh, it went for the attack. He's got past Bird, and Bird's going to lose the position to Economos as well. Bird now at the back of this battle pack, getting it wrong into the corner, letting Bennett get through, and Bennett forced him to stay out wide, and that's let Economos through as well. Great bit of opportunistic driving from Economos at the exit of turn 6. So now it's Sereno, Miles out front, 17.7 seconds in the lead of this race. Then you've got Christensen, then Grubb, then Bennett, then Economos, then Bird.
Now, where is Tal on track right now? We've got a minute here. We're going to be hitting white flag any moment now.
Tal's just crossed the start-finish line. No, he's crossed it miles ago. He's at turn 5.
Yeah, we're just looking at him now. He's coming uphill towards the helpful right-hander. So I don't know if we have another lap yet. Do we know if it's white flag yet?
It's going to be tight, isn't it?
I mean, if you're Grub, you are praying for white flag, right?
Yeah, I think you're trying to get on the radio to tell him to slow down. Dude, you've got 19 seconds.
Mate, I've got $20 in my PayPal account for you if you can just drop 5 seconds, please.
If I win the $15 in the competition from tonight, I'll give it to you. That's what he's thinking.
You know, I love a good underdog, so I think I'm Team Grub right now.
Your Team Grub trying to hold on to that podium position, and it's Bennett right behind him. Bennett, the main contender for it. Then it's
okay, so this is checkered flag. This is checkered flag. This is it.
So this would be the last chance any of them get. Is he going to launch a move? Is Bennett going to go for it? He pulls out to the inside. No, he can't do it. Can't get deep enough on the brakes. Might be able to get some sort of switch back, get him into the final corner. Doesn't matter if he compromised so much this time round.
Ryan's gone to the inside. He's gone defensive. That's it. He's got it. He's just keep it on track.
He's done it. He's got the podium. Congratulations to Grub again, the podium. Tal Serrano takes the victory. Well deserved. Absolutely dominates the field. Jeremy Christensen, a brilliant recovery, up 7 positions to second. And Ryan Grubb, a stunning defensive drive to hold on to the final podium position. What a race. What a race.
Oh, that was... Oh! That was so hype.
That's the kind of race you do this for. That was fantastic.
So these are our final results.
So Tao takes the victory. Absolutely dominant. 20 seconds up the road. No one even in the same postcode as him. Congratulations to Tao. Christensen finishes second. Grubb in third place. Holds on just about from Corey Bennett in the Lamborghini. Kenny Colomoss recovers up to 5th after an incident while he was battling for the podium himself. Rejoined the battle but not able to make the headway and get into 2nd or 3rd position. Curtis Bird in 6th. Was in that podium battle pretty much all race long and just faded towards the end. Orbistella had a good recovery up into 7th. Horton had an incident with Kenny Colomoss. That's put him down into 8th place. Brunson 9th and Byrne is in 10th. Behind them, Brad Hayes just misses out on a top 10, finishing in 11th. Atkinson in 12th. Beaumont, Brown and Milne all had incidents and finished 13th, 14th and 15th respectively. So, as is tradition, we've got 3 drivers waiting for us in the waiting room. We'll bring them into the chat. And Mitch, I will let you lead the interviews.
Holy hell. Gentlemen. What an incredible couple of races that was. This is, Liam and I were talking about this before. I think this is collectively, I'm just going to speak for Liam here. I think this was both of our favourite races in the series so far. How are you guys feeling about it? We'll start with you, Jamie.
It was pretty fun when everyone was all close together because it's a pretty tight track, especially through the S's, but that second race, I don't know how. I'm in P2.
I saw you had a bit of an incident. Was it lap 1?
Yeah.
Talk us through that. What happened there?
So Matt had an issue with his wheel, apparently. Apparently it was about to fall off or something. So he wasn't driving to the best of his ability, but I accidentally missed the braking zone into turn 7. And me and him, just were last.
And then from last at the end of lap 1 to 2nd place, that's going to feel pretty good. Talk to me a little bit about your recovery drive and how you feel like you've recovered from that. Obviously, the safety car was a big part of that.
Oh, we had no safety car in that race.
Sorry, safety car was the race before. So, talk to me about your recovery in this race.
I was pushing for a good 10 laps, the first 10 laps, and I saw that everyone was all close together at front, so I knew that was the only reason I caught up, because they were all battling. And then about maybe 5 laps-ish before the end of the race, about 3 or 4 of them all spun at turn 7.
Yeah, that was, I believe, Kenny Colomoss ran into the back of, was it Joshua Alton?
Mr. Horton.
Mr. Horton, yes. and then I think there was a couple of sympathy spins as well.
Yeah, there was a few people.
And
off
about
the-
and, yeah, and
the
about
region.
half the grid, half the top 10 ended up in one way or another falling down the field. So a little bit fortunate there, but I mean, I'm not going to say that that's the reason for your P2 because we watched you towards the end of this, and you had blistering pace. And kudos to Ryan, he really made you work for it as well. Were you starting to think that you were going to just be a little blip in his mirrors for the rest of the race?
I mean, I expected that he would probably defend because he's in P2. There's no one in front of us, so defending's probably is all you're going to do. But he made a little bit of an oopsie at turn 7.
Yeah, a little bit of an off track there, and you got him down the straight.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. We will move on to Ryan now, seeing as how we were just sort of talking about you. Ryan, sort of the cork in the bottle there at the end. How are you feeling?
Oh no, I'm pretty elated. I'm not going to lie. I don't ever come into a race actually aiming for a podium finish because I'm still new to iRacing and I only learnt the track like 20 minutes before we actually raced. So I'm quite surprised to be here. I was very lucky with the 2 or 3 in front of me that spun out that Christensen's mentioned before.
There's no such thing as luck. There's only bad luck.
Yeah. I
No...
was pretty much just trying to hang on for dear life at the end, but obviously a few errors crept in. But I still managed to hang on to P3, so I'm super ecstatic. I
will admit, when you had that little off track that let Christensen past you, I was a little bit worried that it was going to be more than that. I thought perhaps Corey might snake you there as well, but thankfully you managed to hold on there. So I think you spent maybe 5 laps with 5 drivers, all within a couple of tenths of each other. How do you deal with that kind of pressure?
Yeah, there was a lot of sweating going on over here. I'm not going to lie, but I was just trying to keep cool as best I could to hang on to what I had.
Well, that's fantastic. You must be pretty excited. This is your first podium here, is that right?
It is. You're correct.
Well, congratulations on your very first podium. More to come, I hope.
I hope so too. I'll be crossing my fingers.
All right, congratulations, Tao. You just walked away with this one.
Thanks, boys. It's just everyone decided to fight amongst themselves, so just sort of fell in my lap a bit, to be honest. But the BMWs were just too strong, especially Sector 2. It was just, couldn't even take the same line in the Porsche. It was, as I showed in race 1 where it's fun, it's just, it was an absolute handful through there, so... Yeah,
we saw you have a few incidents there during qualifying as well.
Yeah, it just can't take the line as comfortably as the BMW does, so you just don't really have much margin for error there. But the car was quick. It was just it was definitely a bit harder.
It looked really good under brakes, actually. I noticed on a few occasions that could just be you and not the car. But that's where I noticed you making up a lot of the time, particularly late brake maneuvers as well. Is that you, or do you think that's
definitely? Nah, the Porsche is definitely better than the BMW under brakes. There's no doubt about that.
And I've been watching the Porsche. The 2 cars I think that have interested me the most so far in this series have been the Porsche and the BMW. Are you finding the Porsche to be a little bit better in less straight speed dependent tracks?
I don't actually think straight lines it's the biggest problem. I think circuits like this where you've got high speed corners with high load where the car starts to move around on the suspension is where like in Sector 2 here is where its problem actually is. Same as Spa last week at what's it called, at Blanchimont. That's high speed stuff is where the car it's on an absolute knife edge.
I think the BMW has got a little bit more straight line speed, a little bit more pace in hand than the Porsche as well. Does that check with you?
Yeah, it's probably, I'd say it's maybe a kilometre. It's definitely not enough to be a big issue for sure.
The only thing that I think I've noticed consistently is in the toe. If you're the following car, if you're, for example, a Porsche and you've got the BMW behind you, if you're the Porsche and you've got the BMW in front of you, the toe doesn't really see. It seems to be just enough speed to negate the effects of the toe, particularly on the Porsche. Because I'm not seeing a lot of people make up a lot of time on these straights.
I think it's enough to get a move done, but you're certainly weaker. Like when the BMW's in your toe, you're almost certainly going to have a move happen. But then the Porsche is so much better on its brakes that it ends up sort of fixing itself in that regard.
So, in terms of our standings, I believe this is going to comfortably put you in first now. I think you were even in first going into this. Yeah, you had a few points on, I'm seeing here, Front and Christensen. So I think this is just going to extend your lead a little bit more. And we've yet to see you have a clean series.
Did I? As in with the 2 sprints?
Yeah, I don't. Well, actually, Spa. I think you walked away with that one, didn't you?
Yeah, that was. You're right. With sprints, I've not really had a great one. I mean, they've both been my fault, but still.
So, is that the Porsche? Do you think? You've mentioned it's a bit on knife edge.
This one was definitely just. I mean, I turned the traction control down the lap before to try and keep a bit of a more pace, but that's why I sort of ended up on the fence. I think Fuji was just a bit of a driving experience.
Yeah, I think. Probably pissing me on logging here. But I think from memory, you and Fitzroy got caught up with each other, and you ended up with a little drive-through on the second heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong. So finally, before I let you go, you know what? I've just blanked. I've just completely blanked. Oh, that's right. I wanted to ask you about Kenny. So you've been looking pretty dominant. Like you've set the pace. You've thrown the gauntlet down in each of these races so far. But Kenny, I think, is the first driver I've seen that I felt like was really on the same level of pace. I mean, you've certainly had plenty of battles with Christensen. He's shown that he can keep up to you on race pace on the right track. So how did you feel seeing Kenny in here and the sort of qualifying times he was putting in?
Yeah, I think like in race trim here, the BMW was just that 10th quicker, which is pretty much what happened in the race. Just the 10th every lap, which is the way. But it's like, yeah, it was close. I mean, our quali times are pretty much bang on the same. So it'll be more interesting at a track where the cars are a bit more balanced to see what the times are like. I'm not sure where we are next, but I think this track is probably actually the worst case scenario for the Porsche.
Right, so it's only up from here, you think?
Yeah, but it would only have been like the 10th. It wouldn't have been something crazy like
What we've got coming for us this season.
We've got Le Mans coming up next. 2 25-minute races around Le Mans, and then the final round is a 60-minute race at Bathurst.
Right, so what car are you going to be bringing to Le Mans?
Ford GT.
That's what I was going to say.
Actually? Because we haven't seen that one yet.
Yes, I'll bring Ford.
I was going to bring the Ford as well. That was my plan.
I'm around no wing. And if I crash, I crash.
All right, well that's it. we've got you bagged and tagged. Ford GT next week, well next fortnight. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations to all of you on your podiums, and we will catch you all next fortnight, if not next week.
No worries. Thanks, Wobblers.
Cheers, guys. Awesome. What a race. Always good talking to the guys afterwards. And I can't wait for Le Mans in 2 weeks' time. But before then, we've got a few other races coming your way. Precisely 3 more races before then. And, of course, starting with NASCAR tomorrow night. It's a special week here at the ANZ ESeries. This week, if you compete in either race, you will be put into a draw for $15 iRacing credit, and that occurs each day of the week. So there will be a draw from the runners in the GT3 tonight, and then there will be a draw from those who run in the NASCAR series tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we'll have NASCAR from Michigan Oval. 50 laps around Michigan Oval. It's great fun. You can hop into the practice session, learn the oval in the practice session, and get racing with all of the people that have been racing in the NASCAR series consistently throughout the season. It'll be a lot of fun, so please do get involved, and it's likely to be a crash fest, so who knows, a sneaky podium or even a win might be on the cards if you get involved with the race at Michigan tomorrow night. That starts, servers open at 7 Australian Eastern Standard Time, qualifying is on at 7:30, and then the race starts at 7:35.
And keep in mind, everybody, you can join at any point. Just because we are halfway through some of these races doesn't mean you cannot join. Pay your membership. It gives you access to all 4 of the races that we run here on alternating Wednesday and Thursday nights.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an absolute bargain, and the ANZ ESeries is only going to grow from here. This is the first time running multiple series. There was basically a trial earlier on in the year, which was just the one series being run under the Vermilion Motorsports brand. That was a success, so they decided to expand to 4 series running fortnightly, 2 on the Wednesday night, 2 on the Thursday night, each alternating. And so the numbers, they're a little low, usually between 10 and 20 for each series, but it's only going to grow from here. It's being run very well. The racing's been fantastic, and in a few seasons' time, you're going to have some of the best racing available on the iRacing platform. So why not get your foot in early, get a head start on the inevitable chasing pack that is going to come.
And every series is broadcast as well. It'll either be Liam and myself, or Connor and Aaron if you're opting to go for NASCARs and the 86s. And just a quick shout out to everybody that watched tonight. Lynn's Admin, we see you there supporting those Fords. Fantastic. Hopefully you'll be here next fortnight to watch the Ford GT as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can only bring you this sort of consistent service of having live race control, having the broadcasts for each and every round of the ANZ series because of our sponsors, and I believe we've had a new sponsor come on board.
Yes, that would be that's me. That's me. I am the new sponsor. I've got a small business in Newcastle that does car detailing. So if you're in the area, please look me up. Newcastle Detailing. Shameless self-promotion.
Well, it's not shameless. You're supporting the series as a sponsor. You're going to promote yourself as much as you like. That's the point of being a sponsor, Mitch. You don't have to feel guilty anymore. Shameless would have been if you'd done it last week.
Yes, and then not being here for it.
Yes, that would have been shameless. But you get away with it this week.
Well,
and of course,
fingers
you can get away with it
for the rest of it.
Of course, you can get away with it next week when the Formula Fords and the Toyota GR86 series return. But until then, it's a good night from me and Mitch. We will see you next Wednesday for the Formula Fords.
play, then, which when I get time, I'll see if I can make a new one that will fix that. But we'll see if I have time. And then also,
Yep.
for the like stand-ins and the posters and stuff, maybe just put them in front of like iRacing, like as over the top, because the background's a bit too loud,
Yeah.
and also it probably looks cleaner if you just like fade it on top of iRacing. And try not to also stretch them, because it looks a bit squat.
Oh. Hey, can you see my screen right now?
Oh, I'm going there right now. Yeah.
That looks stretched.
Yeah, when I was looking, maybe pull out left and right a little bit.
Sorry, what?
So pull right. There you go. But did you change that at all when you were sizing it?
No, it's just how it came in. I think it's
Okay.
sized to, what is it?
It looks really squished from left to right on the stream. Oh, one second, I got someone calling me.
Yeah, sure.
Oh wait, it says you're still live. Are you still live?